Investors have been majorly fooled, and on today's show I'm going to show you why you may have less than 8 weeks left to accumulate some of your favorite altcoins. So without further ado, let's get straight into the show. And I wanted to start off over here with this tweet from our man 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗬, the inverse indicator. Be careful, we finally overbought. A major expansion candle retraced almost 50%, or actually this one hit 50% and almost tagged the trend line over there and then continued to rally. And you can see if we look at this candle, this is now our new 50% level, which we've been focused on. 28,870, and price has got very, very close but has not quite yet hit that level. So it is an area of interest to watch out for as long as Bitcoin does react off that zone and continue to hold that. If prices do pull back into this, it should bounce. If it doesn't, then ultimately we start to look towards the trend line regression over here. And once you start to lose that level, the whole entire picture starts to change. But for now, it's still a consolidative pattern after a major move, and it may move sideways for a couple more weeks, and then we can see what happens next. So what is supporting this over here? If you look at James V. Stratton, he says 15.2 million Bitcoin have been considered illiquid, meaning if you look at on-chain, those coins are yet to move. 4 million Bitcoin is considered liquid or highly liquid. Since May, the rate of change is one of the fastest recorded. Supply demand soon, he says over here. So basically, what does that mean, right? As demand picks up and there's so much less supply than what we're used to seeing in the prior cycles, that of course creates an upward pressure environment for the prices to continue moving up higher. We still have to clear some very, very key levels on Bitcoin, that being that $32,000 level. But ultimately, you can see how very quickly the narratives will switch. And this is what investors often get so wrong. They get overly bearish at the bottom and overly bearish at the top, and they take too long to move on board. At this point, we've already had a lot of the easier moves take place within crypto. So off the bottom to the top, whilst many people would consider this the riskiest time to be getting into crypto, fair enough, we were still in a downtrend, but as soon as you had this major expansive candle and you broke this area over here, that was the opportunity to start to look for a long entry, and you had a chance all throughout over here. This would be a low risk environment to get an entry into the market, and since then you've had the easiest part of the move, that being 55 to 60% up for Bitcoin, and you're still probably going to get a little bit of an easier ride before this does fade out. It's when prices start to reach those near all-time high levels like you see over here. This is now when you're starting to take on a whole lot more risk than you need to. You do have the GBTC's Grayscale discount, which is still moving towards the premium side. It's now at a negative 25% discount over there. So as this continues to move on up, you'll see the discount will start to close in towards that negative 5% level. And that's probably when you start to see real FOMO kicking in the market. And that's when you're taking on a whole lot of risk. At this point over here, there is still less risk involved than what you'll see in the next couple of weeks to months. And I'm going to show you what that means for altcoins as well. And from a timing cycle perspective, why you may have 8 weeks left to accumulate some of your favorite altcoins. So there are also major divergences which we need to consider over here for Bitcoin. The divergence in Bitcoin price performance and BTC stock performances over the past months is a sight to behold. What does he mean by that? Well, the prior 1 month price performance has Coinbase up 90%, MicroStrategy up 50%, and then Bitcoin up only 12% over the past month. So will there be a divergence or convergence that will close this divergence, meaning Bitcoin should catch up? Well, I'll show you on the low time frames what you need to be looking out for to confirm that next move. The S&P 500 broken out of a major high time frame range, that high time frame range being 4,300, the yellow line over here. We have broken out. We're pushing into resistance now. This is your resistance level. But if you see the stock market consolidate within this region over here, failure to break down, so just moving sideways like that, will likely lead to a next major explosive move. And it's only got 4.7% left to go before it actually makes all-time highs. The all-time highs were set on the 3rd of January 2022 on the left-hand side over here. So a lot of macroeconomists completely caught off guard. And that's supposed to be supported by the breakdown of the dollar index, right? The DXY has broken a key level, that key level being at 100.7, which you can see is confirmed over there. Now, we still need to give the dollar a little bit of time to play out. And if you look historically what's happened with Bitcoin, oftentimes the dollar makes its move and Bitcoin kind of lags before it starts to react. So your expectation would be that that crypto should follow suit to the tech stocks, which have been absolutely rallying on this breakdown of the dollar. So it might just be a delayed reaction from Bitcoin. You can see continuing to hover around that $30,000 mark for Bitcoin. It is a key level that we need to hold and then break that 32,000. I think things start to move quickly. But you need to be careful when it comes to the dollar. If the dollar does deviate, remember, this is a key level. And oftentimes in trading, you get fake out situations whereby you lose a key level and you immediately reclaim, right? That would be the deviation play. If the deviation play does take place, well, then maybe that $32,000 region is going to be a local high for Bitcoin. Correlate that with what's going on in the Bitcoin dominance. You can see big push up over here. We did not play out the entirety of the bull flag formation. Your bull flag here is your measured move. Should have taken you to 54.39%. We now need to watch this level carefully. It could be a case where you're having a back test into the prior range high. Here's your range. Bitcoin dominance range, that is your range high level. If you come back into that zone and continue to bounce, well, then you probably will complete this move and maybe even go higher from that point. But a break into this range while seeing what's happening with the 𝗥𝗏𝗧 chart as well as total 3, I'm going to show you exactly what to look for. If you see something like this, and this comes into August, September, that we start to break down the Bitcoin range high, so losing that level, breaking the diagonal, ultimately, that's where you could really see the altcoins rally aggressively, and you'd be looking for a move into this SOS phase. We'll get to that chart in a moment. First, look at 𝗥𝗏𝗧. 𝗥𝗏𝗧 still, same thing, got its long-term resistance line over here. It has been range-bound for quite some time. Here's your long-term resistance line holding price towards the downside. We had a push into the 0.25 level, bounced off of there as expected, regression into that resistance level and starting to reject from there, still looking for a move down into this lower region. Lining that up, if it follows this trajectory, again, pay attention to the timing. You're looking at that August to September region for these lows to be met. Once this target level gets hit at 0.0557, that's where I would start to look for a potential entry into altcoins. So when price moves into this region over here, that could be the ultimate opportunity. Not to say that there aren't altcoins running right now. There's plenty. I'm going to show you a couple that we've been looking at as well. But that is timing-wise what we're looking for. We're looking for 𝗥𝗏𝗧 to push into the range low. We're looking for Bitcoin dominance to break down its supporting trend line and break back into the range, while simultaneously we want to see the Wyckoff accumulations to schematic play out to perfection. And we've been following this for months, and so far it's been holding almost to perfection. We've reclaimed the mid-range, right? The orange lines over here. We've reclaimed a very key level, which is the mid-range. We are consolidating above that level, and now you would expect that consolidation to continue all the way into September, and then somewhere around mid-September is where you could start to see altcoins really rallying in that markup phase, which leads into the phase D, SOS, sign of strength. There it is, phase D. That is your SOS, your sign of strength phase. And that's where altcoins really rally. I would expect from a timing perspective that this should happen in the same way, right? You should deviate these range lows on the 𝗥𝗏𝗧 chart. Bitcoin dominance should be breaking back into its range while simultaneously you having the move up into the SOS phase. And this would be the ultimate zone to start to time those entries into altcoins. Timing wise, I want to remind you, you're looking at around 8 weeks if this Wyckoff accumulation schematic does play out in the way that we've been watching for so many months now. So with that being said, you'll be looking for strong altcoin plays coming up in the future. And 𝗵𝗆𝗆𝗧 says over here, the bear market is offering you an opportunity to spot market leaders at discounted prices. Here's the revenue generated by these perpetual exchanges on the year-to-date basis. Remember, these are going to probably be big narratives going forward. The DEXs are likely where a lot of the money is going to flow to. And the coins that we're looking at, DYDX, GMX, Synthetics, Level Finance, and then Gains Network. So those are probably something that you want to put onto your watch list. Consider if everything plays out again, what I just showed you over here, if everything plays out according to plan, these are some of the strong coins which you probably want to be positioned into. They're also new coins, right? And technically, the new coins are the ones that rally the most. Those are the ones that rally the most. Before we get into the rest of the show, let's go ahead and have a look at some of these coins just to update where we are within the range. Also looking at the 200-day moving average. Remember, perfect chart would be price reclaiming that 200-day moving average, the 200-day moving average being slightly upsloping, and any retests into those levels are opportunities to get long. You can see on Ethereum, this is going to be a strong level of support, that 1745. It happens to be the bottom of this range over here, the $1,700 range, and it's going to test the 200-day moving average. Let's go on to 𝗬𝗎. 𝗬𝗎, again, one of the trades that we gave. I haven't looked at these yet. Let's see how our trades are doing. So we're in the money on 𝗬𝗎, still in profit over there. What about BNB short trade? In the money on the BNB short trade. Curve, we're in the money on Curve. Has this stopped out? Still in the trade, but almost stopped out. Very, very close on Render. Continue to hold Render. We'll wait for the stop losses to get hit if we are going to get taken out. We have Stacks just above our entry price. Still in the money on Stacks. Uniswap. Okay, Uniswap, while in the money on the first trade, this is the second trade entry, keeping the stop in the same place. These are in the Discord, by the way. If you want these trades, they have been dropped in the Discord. Let's look at Perpetual. Perpetual, slightly in the red. Actually not. It's just being, here you go. If you move that, slightly in the money, so just above our entry point over there. So very key level. That level we're looking to have it hold. That is your deviation. Feel free to keep me accountable. If you want to hold a list of these, you're welcome to. I am tracking these with my team. We make sure any trades that we give you, if we put a risk to reward tool, that's a serious trade that we're considering taking, and we will be recording that. So just so you know, the other ones are just analysis basis. The ones with the risk to reward tool are actual real trades. Ocean, here's another one. Let's move our pink box over here. Just below our entry price, so slightly in the red, stopping out below the 200-day moving average. So we'll give that one a little bit of time to get going. What about Phantom? Here's Phantom. Phantom it hasn't quite hit the entry price yet. We'd be looking for a test into the trend line over here and then a bounce back towards that 200-day moving average. Trader Joe. Trader Joe is in the money. This is another one of our trades. It is in the money, bouncing off of that 200-day moving average. You have a nice diagonal support level over here as well, and we're targeting 51 cents and then all the way up to 68 cents. These are swing trade ideas, right? They'll take some time to play out. And then 1 inch. If you consider 1 inch, what happened early on this week, look at that massive move. We did outline on the show, 58 cents was a key level. You want to focus on that zone in case of a rejection. You got the major rejection over there. That would have been your first take profit, and you would have wanted to see it hold the 200-day moving average if you were going to continue holding the other 50% up to 69 cents. That did not happen. Straight rejection all the way down. Quite a big trap over there. Arbitrum. Let's look at Arbitrum over here. Layer 2s. Layer 2s are going to also be a hot narrative, right? You have the EIP event, which is going to be coming up sometime in August, and that will add additional pressure towards the layer 2s. Arbitrum is breaking out of a head and shoulders pattern over here, and this is your neckline. It's been holding that as support. Any retests that come into a neckline on a head and shoulders, which is this region over here at $1.20, are great opportunities to hold your long. You want to invalidate if price starts come under below that wick, which happened on Tuesday the 18th. That is your daily candle. Wicks below there, you probably want to get out of that position. What about Optimism? Optimism, I don't have too much to say over here. It's not as clean as the other charts. You do have a long-term diagonal, which it did bounce off. You're coming into the mid-range. So far, you're holding the mid-range. You're starting to create an order block, which is a consolidation after the first big move up. It's holding that level. Maybe you're going to push up towards the 200, but probably wouldn't play this one. It's not the most ideal. Before we continue on, smash the like button, hit the bell notification, and subscribe to the channel. And we haven't done roll call for a long time, so let's see who is in the chat over there. We have Pratik, we have Melissa, we have Knight, Iceboy, Banter Girl, happy birthday. I saw it was her birthday the other day. We have Charm Haynes, Johnny, Renee, we have Ella, we have 𝗨𝗏𝗧. What's up, Chaos? Haven't seen you in a while as well. Make sure you smash the like button, help to get the show content out there, and then let's continue on with the show. So I'm going to go through a couple more over here. Let's look at what's going on with 𝗏𝗏𝗧. 𝗏𝗏𝗧 is also breaking the long-term diagonal support line over here. You're kind of looking for it to hold this level. Still, probably would just wait on 𝗏𝗏𝗧 unless you get a trend line regression over here. I would rather look at the other trades I've given. Also, Atom waiting to break this long-term trend line. Remember, if it does get above, a bit of resistance will be found over here at the 200-day moving average. But look at the fake outs. This is why you need to be careful. Big push up on that daily candle straight into the downtrending trend line over there. Next candle pushed up, failed to close, immediately came back down. We're still waiting for the break. Put Atom on your watch list. It is one to be looking at. Trias, another very good one that's coming close to our trend line over here. So your trend line is sitting at $3.01. Perfect upsloping trend line. That I would look at the reaction first. See how price reacts when it gets there. If you start to see something like this price action over here, let's quickly zoom in. If you start to see something like this, you can get an entry, right? Big move, wicks, and then start to time an entry. Stop goes below. Big move up, and now you can start to move your stop to break even, and you just continue the uptrend. Lose that level, you'll probably find some support on the 200-day moving average. Why is Trias a good one to look at? Because it's outperforming Bitcoin. You always want to trade the ones that, as a swing trader, if you're going to swing trade the ones that are outperforming Bitcoin. Day trades are not so important, right? What I mean by that, well, if you're looking for a certain risk to reward setup, it doesn't really matter, right? If you're looking at a 1 to 3 risk to reward setup on Bitcoin, ETH, Solana, whatever it may be, it doesn't matter if you're holding it for a short-term trade and it hits your target, you take your 3R and you pretty much leave. So that is Trias. Solana, how's Solana doing? Solana needs to get back above this level and hold. If you start to see a lower high over here below this wick, there will be quick traders who went short over here but above this wick over here. If you see this price stalling and come back down for the second time, that is a strong opportunity to short Solana. Stop loss would stay there. You could probably then move it a little bit lower to around that $30. Hold below the key level at 27, and ultimately you're going to play it back to the bottom of the range around 20. These are quite big moves, right? So from there to there, let's assume it gets back in the range and you time it from there to there. That is a 22% move towards the downside. DYDX. Let's look at some of these DEXs and how they're looking. DYDX still below the 200, but it could potentially reclaim. It's starting to move sideways. It looks like the aggressive sell-off has started to, has finished now. And ultimately, I'm not really looking to short any of these coins. But if anything, if you see any move back into these range lows, those are just opportunities, right? If you see any moves that come back into the range lows over here, maybe price will come down one more time, see the lows, and swipe all of these guys out. It happened on Chainlink. There's no reason it can't happen again on one of these. See something like that, that's your opportunity to get long. GMX. Okay, let's look at GMX. Also needs a bit of price development over here, but it is rejecting from its 200-day moving average. It doesn't have a very long one, pretty new coin. It needs to get above this $58 zone. Failure to do that could mean, again, a move back to the bottom of the range. Another one that's been doing well is BGB, the BGB token for BitGet. They are one of our sponsors. They my preferred exchange to trade on. If you don't have an exchange and you're looking for one to trade on, there is a sign-up bonus below for Bybit, BitGet, OKX, and a whole bunch more. Do go check that out. So just oscillating and holding around this region, we need to see it get back above that 48 cents level and hold there, and then start to create some higher highs at around 53 and continue the uptrend. But BitGet has been one of the stronger tokens. So you can see across the board over here, Tony the Bull, he says 3 top crypto assets, Bitcoin, ETH, and XRP, are on the brink of making a golden cross, which is on the high time frame, right? On the 3-day time frame. All 3 are firing at the same time, and this has never happened before for them. It will also be the 3rd time in history that BTC and XRP, and then for the 2nd time ever for ETH. But it's never happened simultaneously. So everything is lining up for the crypto market, right? If these crosses can start to take place and we can break through that 32K level, For ETH, it's going to be $2,200 level. Then ultimately, it's onwards and upwards, and you'll see the market wake up very, very quickly. What are the top narratives? Well, the market is very narrative driven. So top narratives, according to Patrick, and you'll see this theme across the board over here, is going to be 𝗕𝗿𝗄. So things like Rollbit. Rollbit has definitely been the top one that people have been looking at. Liquid staking FI, real world assets, the OP stack AI, and then the next big one, which has just come about, is the Telegram bot. So the bots, which we covered yesterday. And here you have it again. Altcoin positions printing, and in his opinion, will lead the next cycle. Unibot, which is a trading bot. We got Rollbit, which is the casino derivatives token. Loot is an airdrop farming bot. Then we have 𝗕𝗶𝘁, tokenized real world asset backed by real estate. And that's in alignment, right? Again, you see the real world assets. Everything is in there. All the top accounts are tweeting about the same things. And you probably want to try research into those sooner rather than later. So current narratives: Ripple news propelled XRP 70% in a week. XLM 45%, still performing pretty decently today. Layer 2 season, as mentioned, that's going to be based on that EIP 4844 and catalyst, which is coming up, I believe, in a couple of weeks. It should be in August. Optimism is a strong one to look at for that. Velo, SNX, and then Arbitrum. Those are the ones that you want to put on your watch list. Meme coins and 𝗕𝗿𝗄 saw significant gains. So you have Bitcoin, which is 𝗕𝗂𝗃𝗧 is up 4x. GEM is up 2x. Unibot 58%. We did cover that yesterday. The most controversial coin, again, Rollbit. Oftentimes, I find the controversial ones that nobody wants to touch because it's controversial, right? It's gambling. Those continue to run the hardest. So I'm not saying that you want to put serious money behind it, but if you want to have a little bit of fun and you want to scale in slowly but surely, I'll show you the Rollbit chart. It is having a pullback right now, and it could be one of the opportunities. Okay, and then you have Casper and Injective, very strong coins for 2023, which are holding uptrends against Bitcoin. Casper's been one of the super, super strong ones of this cycle. Okay, Elon Musk already getting onto the Dogecoin narrative again. You did get a little bit of a pump because of this. He said that to be is to do is to be, do. So there we go. The dumber it is, the more money you make. There's your meme season for the doggy coins. And then you have GUD project. So good project is bets, right? Bets, also another betting project over there. And I'm going to show you this list where you can find it. Xbot, another bot, 5x up. So big runs on these. Now, I wanted to go into Rollbit a little bit because Rollbit, I think, is where the most volume is taking place. Where volume lies is where liquidity lies, which is where opportunity is. So this is the reason I want to look at it. Full disclosure, though, I think this horse guy is definitely being paid by Rollbit. So you have to definitely do your own research as well. But a lot of what he's saying over here does make sense. He says a 3x is conservative. Rollbit is taking up a bunch of mindshare, and it isn't the good kind. So we can assume positioning isn't saturated or even close to it. It's definitely not. I agree with that. It's not saturated. This is also an asset that only has a spot market, i.e. long only flows for the most part, with barely any market penetration. So oftentimes you'll find the coins that had only spot-driven market. One that just comes to mind randomly is HEX. HEX, you couldn't short it anywhere, and the price pumped something like 10,000x in the space of 2 years. So there is nowhere to short this at the moment, and therefore it creates just upward buy pressure. Those are really the only trades that you can take. You can either sell at spot, means you just go back into cash, or you can buy it. It limits the downward selling pressure. Under their hood, they own some of the biggest influencer accounts, of which I'm sure he's one of them, which means they own the most megaphones in the space. These are the guys that you listen to and you look at on a day-to-day basis. One big influencer could probably add tens of millions of dollars worth of buying pressure to a particular coin. So keep that in mind when they own many of the top megaphones in the space. At 10 cents, unit bias is strong. The potential for much higher prices seems obvious. It is also a casino token, so we can assume unscrupulous attempts to inflate its value might be pursued, and then he says, and that playing fair isn't to be expected. Here's what is going to happen. More and more people on the timeline are going to start rolling over and saying, yeah, I don't believe in it morally, but I like the token because do you want to make money or not? And that's really what it comes down to, right? With a lot of these coins, the truth is, it's the truth. Most of them are scams. Most of them were startups that created a coin in attempt to generate additional revenue through raises. I mean, it's very, very simple. Some of them, yes, do want to solve problems and change the world. And when it comes to these tokens, do you want to make money or not? Whether you believe in it morally or not, it's a chart that goes up. Liquidity is there. Then it creates an opportunity. Yesterday, we went through this whole tweet thread on Flood Capital and how potentially they could be making upgrades in the future, bringing new users on board. And we can also see that it's got 1/10 of Uniswap's market cap, but it's doing significantly more volume. So Horst says over here, what happens to the price of Rollbit when serious utility is added? $1 to $2 billion is hyper conservative as a market cap. In a bull market, this is reasonably at least a 20x from here. And I mean, it's true. It might be controversial, but it is true. If we are going to go into the start of a bull market, it could be a major narrative, and you can play it smart. You don't need to risk too much money. And when you double your money, and on something like this, it's not that hard to double your money on something that's gaining a lot of hype and has a major audience due to these big megaphone influencers. Well, a 2x, right? You can take your initial out, leave the rest, and then if that does a 20x in a bull market, you've made some serious gains. So go through to CoinGecko. They have now also added the top Telegram bot coins by market cap. They have a category and a section. If you are going to trade these, same thing. Volume is important. I recommend sorting this into the top volume coins. Look at the ones that are doing the most volume if you're looking for a trade, because high liquidity means easier in and out. And here is your Rollbit, right? Rollbit is currently making a pullback over here, or having a pullback. And if you look over here and we use our fib tool, it is coming into the 618. Now, for those of you who know trading, you'll know that in trending moves, that golden pocket between the 618 and the 786 is usually where you see accumulation. So could this be that this is literally going to be the next high low? I think that there's a real possibility. So far, it's brand new. I don't think that it's garnered enough hype yet to have some major blow off top and come down. I haven't bought any. Full disclosure, I don't own any Rollbit, and I'm not even sure if I'm going to buy it. So do with that information what you will. If you want to buy it, there it is. Okay, back into Bitcoin. Bitcoin, you can see being capped by this trend line over here in the Ichimoku cloud, but still the bulls are in control. We're just moving through a consolidated phase. You have the ADX positive above you have the DI positive above the DI negative, so the green above the red, and then you have the ADX, which is just kind of oscillating and consolidating within this region. As soon as a little bit of buy pressure comes into the market and we start to break this important area and get above that 32K mark with momentum, you can see price will probably move quite quickly. We do also have the cup and handle formation on both Bitcoin and ETH, which is still in the money. And you have to exercise patience, right? This is a high time frame trade. It's on a weekly basis over here. So you'd expect it could take a number of months for something like this to play out. If this were a 5-minute chart, what would you do here? Would you panic? Would you sell out of your position? Personally, I would continue to hold it in exactly the same way. Invalidation remains in the same place. I wouldn't change anything over here. So that is for BTC. What about ETH? Let's quickly get our ETH cup and handle. Just change this chart over here. Okay, let's see. Is it this one? There we go. ETH. Pretty much nearing that entry price, so hasn't even moved at all compared to Bitcoin. Still lagging very far behind Bitcoin, but I would still continue to hold this position, and I'd even scale in a bit more if it did come down. Bear in mind, this is high time frame. We're looking at a weekly chart over here, so you don't want to allocate too much funds over here, because if it does come deeper, percentage-wise, it's a big move. Here's our range, the ultimate range we've been looking at. Very simple. You have your range high, range low, mid-range. You have your deviation below. We're still potentially looking for another deviation over the top side. Meets up with this diagonal line pivot level, which has been adding some resistance. So key zone, we need to continue to watch that. We're in no man's land. There's not much you can say over here. You're either looking to buy the dip over here if it comes down, or you're looking to scale out if it goes above. In between there's not much that you can do on the daily time frame. Pivot levels, price is still holding above our, or it's just trying to reclaim our pivot level. Here's the pivot level. Pivot levels coming in at 30,377. You can see it's an important zone to get above because we have the 12 and 24 EMA, which is currently rolling over. That is the yellow and the pink. If you lose that, again, look down. You have your 200 MA and 200 EMA as support. What about ETH? Same thing as Bitcoin, right? In terms of its range, still looking for potential push higher and deviation into the top side above the range. Zoom out and show you. There you go. So here's your range low, range high, potential push up and deviation, hit the pivot level line, which is coming in at 2,384. And that's where I would personally become a bit more cautious on this trade. Your pivot level for Ethereum, currently that's coming in at 1,914. Price is just about to reclaim that. If it does, it will also reclaim the 12 and 24 EMA, and then support on the lower side, the 200 EMA and 200 MA coming in that high 1700 region. Okay, 4 hour time frame, still bouncing off the 200 EMA on the 4 hour time frame. ETH, that's for Bitcoin. ETH, same thing, still bouncing off the 200 EMA, so looking okay there. Spot and leverage continues to sell off. This is when we look over here at the cumulative volume delta. Both spot selling off to the downside, leverage selling off to the downside, price moving up. It's a divergence. In the short term, you'd be looking for potential pullback to counter that, or at least for one of these to move back up and add strength to the market. But something's got to give. Either price is going to come down, or you're going to see the spot bids coming back into the market and sending price higher. Okay, in the low time frame, starting to play out what we're looking at yesterday. We had the stops. This is going to be the red line over here. We look for price to push above. You're getting that push above. So I'm going to just move this up. Watch for price to push into $3,400 to $3,500. Exact same plan as yesterday. Once that happens, it's probably going to slam back down, and you're going to take the liquidity on the bottom end over here, which is coming in at $29,200. When price pushes into $29,200, look at the reaction. Is it going to bounce out of that zone and reclaim the range? If it does, great. We continue to play the range, longing the bottom of the range and shorting the top. What is your range? This is the range. Let's just zoom out, make this bigger. You can see it very clearly, right? Just look at the yellow lines. That has been the range which we've held for what feels like forever, since the 21st of June. Range high, range low. Price is capped between those two levels. Until we convincingly leave that range, not much will change over there. Okay, most of the market is short at the moment. You're currently sitting with $745 million worth of short liquidation levels. Before, we were sitting at around, I think, $12 billion. So you can see this little move up has already started to scare these guys out, and the market has started to flip long. Liquidity is all over the place on the 12-hour time frame. Let's see if we have something clearer on the 7-day time frame. Okay, whilst that loads, reminder that we do have a special which is currently running. That is going to be for Real Vision. Real Vision, they're running this till the end of this month. So you got 10 days left to participate. You're getting a banter special if you use the link in the description below. What does it get you access to? A whole bunch of experts as well as institutional type of data. So if you are a sophisticated investor and you're looking to take your knowledge to the next level, do check them out. We recently did partner with them. Okay, 7-day time frame. This is on Binance. This is your levels. Liquidity has now built back up to the upside. So you had this level taken at just below $30,000, pushed up, came back down. We have a little bit of liquidity at 29.2, but you can see much more. 30,500, next level, 30,750, next level, 31,050, and then the biggest one at 31,350. So don't be surprised if you push back up into those zones and then later reject. I think that's it from me, guys. Smash the like button, hit the bell notification, and make sure you are subscribed to the channel. And then I will see all of you on the next one. I might not do a stream tomorrow. I am prepping some extra stuff for you guys, which will be released later on in the next couple of months. See you all then. Have a great day. That's it from me, and cheers for now.